On all touring cars, after you do all of your adjustments and you set your tweak, this is the next thing you need to do, and it's important, especially on the Xray X4, I found out because of that brace. So go ahead and press on one corner, for example left rear, and then check the opposite corner tire. So in this case it would be the right, and then do the other thing. So rear on the opposite side and then the front. And then switch, flip the car and then do it again. So you press one corner, and I'm going to show you what the tires do. So if you press the left rear, you're going to be checking the front right tire. If you press the rear right, then you're going to be checking the left front. And I'm going to try to get the camera to zoom. It's actually the front right tire that I want you to focus on, which right now it's out of focus. But you want to do this on a level board, and here I'm pressing on the rear left and checking the right front. And what you're going to notice is this tire is going to start lifting off, but notice that it daylights quite a lot. The outside lifts, which is normal, and then part of the inside lifts, which if the other side does it, it's fine. But the problem, so here I'm going to go to the opposite side. See how the outside lifts, but the inside not really? This tire is still in very good contact. I'm going to give you another angle. So if you check here, see there's still that inside contact patch, versus over here, notice the daylight all throughout the bottom of the tire. I mean, this tire really picks up. And this is an issue because assuming everything, your droop, camber caster, everything's set up, that can cause problems when you're turning. But if you notice this brace, this has that C in the middle, so it's almost like a K brace. If these two come here versus the originals, it was even on both sides. This is just a C. It goes on one side. So I don't think this is flexing evenly left to right. So now I'm just going to flip it. I'm going to go this one, check that tire, and then I'm going to press this one and check that tire. So again, you always check the tire that's in the opposite corner of where you are pressing. I'm going to try to focus this on the rear tire again, and we are just checking for that daylight. Now it could be that your tires are worn differently, your tires are off, but if you notice this, the outside kind of comes off a little, inside still has very good contact, not a big deal. Now one of the things that I want to point out is, so there barely lifts, but there's still some contact in the middle. I want to point out the relationship to the C. So now we're going to the rear right, which appears on your top left or center left of the screen, but that's the rear right, and I will be doing the same thing. So, camera's not really focusing. There we go. See how much it's lifting? So it's lifting a little more than the other side. Here's another angle. If I can get the camera to focus while I'm doing this here, that's a lot better. So notice all the daylight on that particular tire versus the other side. And notice the relationship with the C. So that now I'm going to remove the top brace. So the top brace is off, and I'm going to run the same exact test. So remember, check the tweak, check everything. This is assuming right height, everything is the same. The tires, the front tires should be doing the same left and right, and the rear tires should be doing the same left and right. But here we go. So if I press down, notice the nicer contact. It is lifting on the outside, which is fine, but there was more contact in the middle and toward the inside, which before that was lifting. There was a lot of daylight. So if you go back in the video, you'll see that daylight. And then here we go. So this is front left. See, it lifts on the outside, but the inside, center inside, still contacting quite nicely as it did before. So the main issue here was the front right, and the front right is now getting contact very similar to the front left, which is what I want. Now that's without the brace. Keep in mind this is going to allow everything to flex a lot more. When you do install this brace, they do make these two halves, so it's a two-piece set that you can get from Xray. The rear is actually a 2mm, so it allows for more flexibility. So if you're running asphalt, low traction or asphalt, that's something you want to consider. Now they're about $64, so I'm just going to cut it and try it out. So here we go. I went ahead and cut it with a Dremel. Make sure that you use proper respiratory gear and eye protection. And when I mean proper, I don't mean your homemade mask. Now I did put this masking tape on there, and I'm about to go over it with a pencil to try to get some lines here. So this is uniform. These are all centered. So I'm just going to go over it with a pencil, get the marks here, the shape that I need, and the holes, line everything up with the holes, and then mark the shape, and then I can cut it. So all of these holes have to line up. And there are the pencil marks. So again, here, the way you see it, I focused more on the left side. The right side, I don't care about the shape. I care about this turn right here, all these curves, and lining it up with these holes, because that's what I'm going to cut. I'm using the center as a reference, and it's that edge that I want to copy. So now I just take the tape off, and then I go ahead and flip the part, and I line everything up, and I'm doing it to both, so I have to use both hands for this. But here we go. So all the holes are lined up, both those lines. These are tools I'm going to be using. That little sander a little, but I'm mainly going to use the cutting wheel. But here we go. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough. You're going to be producing extremely fine dust. You don't want it in your lungs. Get high efficiency filtration system to wear in your face. If you can turn on a vacuum, which I'm going to, I block the sound, have a vacuum running at the same time. But even then, the dust is so fine, it can get anywhere. So be careful. Here are the finished products. So I went ahead and just grinded them, smoothed them out. The shadow makes them look a little weird. They actually came out pretty nice. I'm going to add some CA glue, but notice the dust here. Now the CA glue is so they don't split, but you don't have to add it. I just decided to put some CA glue on the edges right around here and there, just to help it. And here we go. So installed, the two top braces are now installed. I will go ahead and check it. So again, opposite corner. And let's look at the tire. Again, I'm trying to focus the camera for you. Here we go. All right. See? Much better contact than when it had the one-piece brace. So it's actually doing very well. Well, you have to see the other tire because the right and the left have to do the same thing. Here, I think. Oh, I pressed the wrong one. Here, hold on. Sorry. There we go. All right, so you see how the outside comes up, but the inside still has that contact patch. So left and right are very, very similar now with that bracing. I don't want to run it without the bracing. It would flex too much, especially in the center. But here we go again. So if we look at the front right, see, very similar to the left side, which is what I want to have consistent grip, especially while turning left, turning right. But this is, I'm just going to remove these two screws here to allow for a little more flex. So I'm just going to leave the very far two, and I'm going to remove these two right here. I actually want more flex in the front. That is the reason why I'm doing it. Now, if you are running the front brace, just remove the front brace, that little carbon fiber brace that goes in the top. It's better. It really is better if you remove it. But here we go. So notice, very nice. There's light on the outside, but the inside still has contact. And I'm going to check the left. There we go. So it lifts on the outside, but the inside, I need to focus this here. The inside still has contact. So much better than before. And this is the way the brace turned out. So it looks pretty neat. But again, do consider buying the two-piece if you want that thicker rear brace and thinner front. I believe the rear, but let's see, screws. I'm running those two, the one in the front, and then one here, and then the two in the front. Sorry, one in the middle for each, and then two on the extremes. But I hope this was useful, informative, or at least entertaining. Please subscribe if you have not. I hope this was helpful, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Oh, my hair! My arm! My rod!